Getting massive damage numbers in any game is always a spectacular thing. Juicing up your team, grinding them to make them perfect, and then the payoff with insane nukes of damage. Well, Honkai Star Rail is no different, and there is some strategy and planning involved if you want to hit as hard as possible to break that 100,000 damage number, and it's worth doing. Not just for fun, but also because there are some achievements that give you extra stellar Jades the harder that you hit. So in this one, I'm going to share with you some awesome tips to compound your damage so you can hit crazy high damage numbers, just like I do right here.
I'll free you from your chains. Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
That's a lot of damage.
Now I do need to give a quick disclaimer. How hard you can hit will depend on your characters, their build, your overall team comp, including awesome support characters that are easily overlooked, as well as the type of enemy you are hitting. So don't expect to go around hitting over 100k on everything just yet, but you can certainly hit very hard if you plan out all of the previously mentioned points and try them out for yourself in battle. We'll also have some free-to-play advice coming soon, so don't worry if you can't do this because of your characters. However, you can still do this with 4 stars and Tingyun. As you can see, this high damage number was done on the Echo of War Doomsday boss. This means it's a level 47 variant, not the very first one you fight in the story. My characters are level 50, except for Tingyun, who is level 40, so this 181k damage number could definitely get much higher as you get higher level and ascend even more. So to make sure you are setting yourself up for the best single target boss battle, you'll need a bunch of different ways to stack your strongest damage dealer with a ton of damage buffs. This will include stacking together attack, damage, crit damage and crit rate buffs, just like you can see I've done here for this massive boss hit. And if you enjoy our Honkai Star Rail videos, then make sure to give a massive boss hit to that like button down below. The YouTube algorithm needs feeding and it's hungry, so thank you so much for supporting us and feeding the biggest boss of them all, YouTube. You can also subscribe because if you don't, you're going to miss out on more Honkai videos from us. So now let's go over the team comp to get those juicy damage numbers. I've got Bailu on the team, but this is really just because she's a good healer. On a boss, you will probably need some form of survivability, so for me, she fills that slot of keeping everyone alive. I'm not getting any extra damage from her, so swap this out for your own healer or tank option. Next up is Tingyun. This 4-star support is honestly an S-tier character. Maybe you won't use her on your team all of the time, but when you have a very strong DPS character, Tingyun will elevate them to a whole nother level with her skill and ultimate. Her skill Soothing Melody will give a targeted character a 3-turn buff that boosts their attack by up to 30% and makes their attacks deal an extra 24% of their own attack as lightning damage on top. So this alone is a big damage buff, but you can also stack it with her ultimate, which gives another buff to a targeted ally, this time for 2 turns, instantly giving them 50 energy, juicing their ultimate charge, as well as another 26% damage buff. These two stack together and are a massive boost for any DPS character to have at the same time. Remember, you can level her up and upgrade her traces, so these bonuses will go even higher. For the light cone, I'm using Chorus, an easy to get 3-star one, but I have super impositioned it 5 times, which means I have a nice 12% attack bonus to all allies. So Tingyun is an attack damage buffing monster. And next I'm using another support character. This time it's Bronya. She comes with so much benefits it's hard not to bring her if you got lucky and have her. Her skill will let an ally take action immediately, and it will buff them for another 42% damage for 1 turn. Her ult is also insane as a team-wide 39% attack buff and critical damage buff, but this isn't all. If you do have her 5-star light cone, her skill will also give an additional 30% damage buff on top of the previous 42% of the skill itself to the target. And if you want to go even further, give her the Planar Ornament Fleet of the Ageless set, which will give another 8% attack to all allies when over 120 speed, which we will have. So with Bronya and Tingyun stacked together giving these buffs, we have obscenely insane high damage stacking buffs on a single character. But next is your DPS character, the most important one that will be doing the big damage number. I've chosen my personal favorite character, Seela. She's just so awesome and fun to use, and I like that she comes from the Honkai series in the past. She even has her own built-in self buffs which help compound this insane combo. Her ultimate will be the nuke skill that we'll use for a whopping 306% damage to a single target, and it puts her in her buffed up state, which is her talent, which gives her an increased damage of 52% for one turn. Her first Eidolon will even give her an additional 15% crit rate if the enemy is below 80% HP, so this gives us even more chance to get a crit. For the light cone, I'm using Cruising in the Stellar Sea. You can get this from the Simulated Universe rewards. This is great as it boosts our crit even more, and after killing an enemy, we get a massive damage buff, which stacks with Sealer's own talent which procs when defeating enemies, so it's perfect. Your relic and planar ornament sets will be important too for getting even more damage on your primary damage dealer. So I've gone with all attack and some crit rate stats, as well as the sets that you can see on screen now, which simply synergize to give us even more stacking damage. So for the end result, make sure to preemptively buff your damage dealer with Tingyun's skill, have Sealer kill a target to proc her buff state damage buffs beforehand, and then use Bronya's skill on Sealer for the damage buff. At this point, activate both Tingyun and Bronya's ult to juice up your damage to the maximum, and finally end with Sealer's ult to deal a massive amount of damage to a boss in a single hit while it's in its vulnerable state. So after all of this, we will get a massive hit, get those achievements for those extra stellar Jades. So what is the hardest you've ever hit? Will you try out some of these buffing methods for yourself? And if you do, make sure to come back and tell us how high of a damage number you got in the comments down below. And next, if you want to see exactly how I did this, I'm going to let some of the battle play leading up to the final hit, so you can enjoy watching and see how it's done.
The time is now. Lend me your strength. What a headache.
Let me tend your wounds.
Better late than never. Who's next?
Welcome, customers.
Only a scratch.
I'll free you from your chain.
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
You'll pay for this.
Don't mess with me.
What's in your prescription? Let's be friends. Yeah, need a doctor? Yeah. This battle is unavoidable.
Lend me your strength.
Can we talk? Yeah. Let me tell your vitamin.
Better late than never.
Need a doctor?
Better late than never.
Welcome, customers. What's in your prescription?
Who's next?
Let me tend your wounds.
Let's be friends. What a headache. Let me end your misery.
This battle is unavoidable. The time is now.
Lend me your strength. 1,000 wonders to raise your spirits. Good omens. Fight as one.
We've entered the storm. to guard and defend. Crush them!
Don't mess with me. I'll free you from your chains. Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
And the two videos on screen now, we think you'll really enjoy if you did enjoy this one. Of course, you don't have to watch them if you don't want to, but if you did like this video, you're probably going to like these ones too. And then tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.